much. He is the rare, and he is really a pioneer in horticulture, especially intensive horticulture in the all kind of structures. Now he's concentrating on vertical farming. So I think his talk will be his introduction. Ram Singh?
Okay. Thank you. Sai Saab, should I?
Please start.
Okay. Good evening, good morning, everybody. Nice to be with the elites. I should not name, already we know each other. Good one. And with the permission of Dr. Saeed, I would like to share a small PPT I have prepared. Hope his permission is there.
Please go ahead. Is there?
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Should I make it full screen? Can you see
Excellent.
full screen?
Excellent. Yeah.
Okay. Now I think this is the topic what you assigned to me. Is it not?
Yes.
This is the topic.
Yes.
Challenges in vertical farming. Okay. So vertical, you understand what vertical is. Just a simple example, we have seen the terrace farming in hills. And if we substitute there the soil or earth, then terrace agriculture becomes a vertical agriculture or vertical farming. And it looks like that. I will come little later for other vertical farming things. And what is vertical farming? Growing plant in vertically stacked layers. Now we call it a vertical farming. Let me take you a little to the fundamentals, because in vertical farming we are not using soil generally. I don't say that we are not using at all, but by and large we are not supposed to also. So let us see some facts before going to the vertical farming. And we say that soil-less farming we generally use in vertical farming, and the food can be produced without soil. Most of you know that. And plants are growing without soil in nature also. We have got the orchids, the cultivation we are doing of mushrooms, and tissue culture we are doing left and right. Now the very basic of this is that you know the photosynthetic reaction, photosynthesis in plant, which provides us the biomass which we use for food, fodder, fiber, fuel, fans, etc. And this reaction we all know, this is carbon dioxide, water in presence of the light, the sun god. It gives us the carbohydrates and oxygen. That is what is the basis. Looks simple, but a very complex one, as most of you know. But my point is here that the role of soil in biomass production is questionable. I have put a question mark because in reaction it is not appearing anywhere. So, what is the role of the soil? That role of the soil is to provide support and nutrient to the plants for its growth and development. Supports and nutrient. Suppose we replace both, you should have agriculture, you should have a farming. So soil-less farming is nothing but the artificial support and nutrient supply to the plant. And you engineers are expert in that, creating the infrastructure in place of soil, and the nutrients, the experts are there, the agronomist and whatnot, all sort of a thing. So that's what I understand about this vertical farming, and the basis of the vertical farming are mainly the technology used, that's soil-less farming. So there's some features of vertical farming. We get the fresh food 24 hours, 365 days, and the protection from unpredictable and inclement weather. This is important. And reuse of water collected from it. We can use it time and again, whatever water we are using. Then it minimizes the use of pesticide, fertilizer, herbicides. Herbicides, industries, they are dead against of this vertical farming because there is no weed in it. And the water also, water requirement is reduced drastically. Then drastically reduces dependence on fossil fuel. Fossil fuel, when I say, I mean the field preparation, etc., and you left and right using tractors and other machinery for that soil preparation, that is out in this. Then proved successful and economical in leafy green production in urban agriculture. That is there. I will come little later on that. Then it prevents crop loss due to shipping or shortage or long transportation. One of the basic advantage of local this your vertical production is the local production, and local production means the nearer to the place of consumption. That is the biggest advantage. That's why the in urban area where the most of the population and the huge area covered by the urban people, by the time the fresh reaches them, it's no more fresh. Then it provides a proud feeling among the farmers for utilization of latest technology in crop production. If a vertical farmer or hydroponic farmer as well as farmer is there, he keeps his collar up. And the economic part mainly in this vertical farming, this is a general view, is not very rigid one, but I have taken from the Journal of Agriculture Studies. The vertical farming give more production in terms of tonnage also. Tomato 155 in comparison to the field, same thing, only 45, and the capsicum 133 tons per hectare, while in traditional farming 30. That gives the idea how much the advantage you have got. And the technology used for this, as Ismail Saab was talking about, the hydroponic, aeroponic, and aquaponic. These are nothing but the having the production in using the water only. Water is the main medium for that. And in this hydroponic, we have got the different system. Somewhere we have got the cocoa peat and other media, and there we apply the, what we call the fertigation or nutrient mixture to have the crops, and that is doing very well. And then the aeroponic, where instead of just running the nutrient and water mixture, we just create a mist or fog on the root zone of the plant, and we have a crop. And the third one, aquaponic, where we have got the fish culture and we take care of the fish culture, and whatever etc. Is there of the fish that is used as a manure or fertilizer for the crops. So we get the crop, we get the fish, both. So let me take you with the help of photographs, how the vertical farming looks like, though you know much better, but I tried my level best to cover the wider area on that. For the environment, it is getting very popular where we call it a vertical garden. And we have got a different thing I have put up here, the portable unit of vertical garden here. I have called it a air purifier, just for the sake of its importance, and we know that. And then we have got the vegetables. You can have the vertical like that, and you can have the terrace garden. And here against the wall, if you don't have the land at all, use the walls for raising the crops. Wall garden we call it, and vertical vegetable production. And you can have the flowers also, all sort of a thing. Then there is a multi-floor farming, one floor over the other. When we have got the building, multi-story building, one story for one crop, two crop, three crops, means story wise you can cultivate the way you want, and you can use the different system of cultivation. That's what is shown here. Then some examples in India. India is not that poor. People say that we are lagging behind, and I also emphasize on that, and I will be emphasizing on that, but we are not totally zero on that. So some of the example I'm showing you, this is a view from Chennai, and good crop, vertical farming. Then you go to Gurgaon, you have the lettuce production, and here you have the aero tower here, different system. Then you go to Pune, you have a tissue culture plant there. Surat, you have got Mumbai, you have got Bhopal. So everywhere in the country, you have got this one. But mainly the leafy greens are produced. And even a place like Leh, where I worked, DIHA, Defense Institute of High Altitude Research, the vertical farming has gone there, and that hydroponic also doing very well, and perhaps we will be introducing it into the bunkers where our soldiers can have some greens. We are on it. Then different systems, you see the different photographs are showing, and you can see the bumper crop of capsicum, vertically grown. I think quite tempting view. Then tomatoes, you can have it. You can have a better crop. I could not get a better picture, but this picture is from Leh. Deliberately I put because I work there. I love it, and I'm still mentally I'm there and keep on guiding the people. Still, including that Hill Development Council there. I'm a member of that. Of this Ladakh Development Council. Then you have the strawberry in a different form. You can have it. One form I have shown you here, a simple one. Then turmeric. Oh, there is a craze to have turmeric in this year vertical farming, and people are doing it. But the medium they are using here, some soil is also there in it, and the other medium, but not totally soil, only part of that. Then we have got the another technology, what I told you, the aeroponic, and where the root system. I think Madam from Washington, I want to make a request to her. Kindly throw some light on the root system under this hydroponics and aeroponics. I consider the role of root system is much more pronounced than any other factor. Then the aeroponic simply it goes like that. We have got the pump here. You spray the root. Roots are all covered. You know they require the dark atmosphere, and that water comes back in the tank, and it goes. And it can be in a different way. The different models have shown you what 4 or 5 different type of this one. It can be n number of models. Then another thing is a microgreen, which is vertically grown. Microgreen is nothing but a stage between a sprout and seedling. You know sprout, you know seedling. So in between that stage, say 4 or 5 days old, that is consumed, and they say craze for it. Now microgreens are available everywhere. And why there is a craze? Because microgreens contain considerably higher levels of vitamin C, A, K, E, depending upon the crop, 5 times greater than the matured produce, whatever it is. And then you can have the herbal production. The herbs can be produced in vertical or hydroponic using the hydroponic technology. I consider this is important, and most of our Ayurveda fellow, whosoever are interested in multiplication of the good herb with required quality, they have to follow it. Then mushroom, already we are growing vertically since ages, but in Leh also we have introduced this vertical production. Then we need innovation in vertical farming. Innovations, I love innovations, because until unless innovations are there, you can't make progress further. So some of these different see aero towers have been shown here, vertically how we can have the crop. There can be number of them. Then let me take you that other places. that other places other than India, Dubai, rich people have the rich, vertical farm, the multi-story building. You see it, Dubai and the Singapore. Then you have got Japan. Japanese are much ahead, having even this vertical garden. See, the trees vertically. You are living here and you are living in the forest, but a vertical forest, artificial one maintained by, soilless or partly soil or something like that. And here in Japan, you have got this 28 level cultivation. 28, you can see. Then USA, from where our friend is there, she will be talking about, I think later, container farming. They are laying emphasis on that. And that urban agriculture, they will have the production in the rural area, bring the container to the place of consumption, sell it and take it back or keep it there for a week or so. One can have it. And the major role played by in this production indoor farming or urban farming by the lights, Dr. Preetham Chandra's favorite subject, the grow lights or LED lights. Dr. Preetham Chandra, without this light and quality of light, we can't have the crops. So you are very important. Then see, this era is of the technology one. We don't want to take the physical labor. We want to press the button or talk. These days only simply talk or have the things. So this is a Babylon microfarm where you can, they have the control, remote control, plug and play hydroponic system for indoor horticulture. Then see vertical farm in Australia, they are spending $2.7 million facility to meet the requirement somewhere. The father of vertical farming, Dixon Despomier, he says anything in agriculture is possible under vertical farming. And he has given a model, this one. He has shown this everything, animals and trees and whatever we are growing in the field, it is possible to grow under vertical farming. That's what he has projected, and the future seems like that. The vertical hydroponic farming is there, and here some statistics is given. We will be so much 9.1 billion food requirement will be increased. We would like to have the food nearer to the place of production that time. So that's what about the vertical farming. This is least affected by climate change, and sun and soil not required. And it emphasis technologies, hydroponic, aeroponic, agroponic, aquaponic, LED, sensor, and whatnot. Whatever the latest technologies are there, you can put it in that. And without those technologies, the farming, I tell you, won't be possible. Then, besides many vegetable crops and dwarf fruit, in ornamental horticulture, vertical gardens are also referred as green wall, living wall, bio wall, smart wall, and whatnot. Then vertical walls for foliage and flowers, they are becoming popular. You must have seen the metro pillars in metro cities. Delhi walas can see in Delhi, and the Bombay wala can see in Bombay. Bombay, I think it's not there. Then Madras or somewhere. Then anyway, Chennai. Then vertical farm is called hydroponic fodder production. You know, this fodder production is going on, green fodder production. That is hydroponically and vertically. That is an example. Then vertical farming has potential for growing many crops and their nurseries. Nurseries, you can have nurseries. Even the paddy nursery, the rice crop, one can have it. It is ideal for molecular farming, the monoclonal antibodies, and multiplication and tissue culture plant. You know, this banana tissue culture is being done vertically in tissue culture form. See, advantages, you know, for everything there is some advantage. And though they say the low energy usage, but comparison to greenhouse. But low labor costs, yes, no doubt. Low water usage, yes. Reduced washing and processing, yes. Reduced transport costs. Yes, and fairly wider range of horticulture crops, fairly wider range, but not a very wide one. No? Fully integrated technology and the optimum air, nutrient, water, light, they are the inputs, and increase the available area. Without the area, you have got the area because you are going vertically, and you have the healthy produce. And those who are interested, they can read this uh, reference I have given below. Now my topic, what the topic Syed Saab gave to me, it starts now and I will finish on time only, no, don't worry. The limitation of vertical farming. The first one, social resistant, as people may not accept the alteration of traditional farming. Then growing food indoors require more energy. That's what I said. But there the comparison was made with greenhouse. So more energy, efforts, resources, and technology. Then comparatively more expensive. Vertical greenhouse is costlier than a normal greenhouse. Yes. Then unaffordable in dense and expensive urban localities where the even the 1 foot of land and 1 square yard land difficult to get. So it's expensive to get the buildings or lands or whatever. Then break-even point, it takes 6 to 7 years. Then inability to produce all types of crop. Not now, but I think future that what Dixon has predicted, we will be able to do that. But we need not to do all the crops. Whatever is possible, we should do it as a supplementary one, not a, the alternative to that. Alternative one should not talk about. Then final produce is costlier for the end consumer. Then recycling and utilization of city waste technology yet to take off. There is a problem. There is a problem. Then organic certification. Organic, we are having a organic produce using the inorganic inputs. Then pollination, if we want to raise the crops like tomato, capsicum, etc., where the partial pollination is required, though they are self-pollinated crop, insect pollination is a problem, and in cross-pollinated one, definitely we will require the pollinator as we need in greenhouses. Then microbiology in hydroponics and vertical farming, not yet understood. I emphasize on that. That microbiology is very important. And the thing which we can see with naked eye, algae growth creating a problem. But you know, a lot of microbes play a role in agriculture. But where are they? In this hydroponic. But they are there in the form of microbiome. So that microbiome studies are required. So challenges with reference to India. Despite several advantages like more and round the year production near to centers of consumption without big farmlands and solution of problems like uncertain climate, overuse of pesticide fertilizers, deteriorating soils, uncertain returns, etc. Vertical farming in India is facing challenges like number one, initial huge cost of infrastructure for large scale farm and cost incurred in managing and maintaining. I told you algal growth, waste disposal, etc. Then dependable and affordable power supply. Question mark. He is there. We are great. Then technical know-how, lack of awareness. See this awareness at educational and research institutions besides public. It's not there in that education and research institution. I'm sorry to mention that. At least to my knowledge, it is not there. And indigenous technology development. We are not developing indigenous technology. We are just borrowing, copying, seeing that whether it works or not. That's all, not beyond that. Then proved economical throughout the world, proved economical in leafy greens, mainly in lettuce. Lettuce, what you call that. But in India, it is rare, but a luxury vegetable. I wish lettuce should have been as popular as it is popular in US and other places. Then market for the produce not assured due to lack of awareness on the quality. If you take the vertically produced crop in the market, open market, people won't go nearer to it. They say, don't know what it is and how it has been produced. We are not sure of it because you have to educate the people. Then economic viability yet to be proved. That is very important. And lack of promotional supports, subsidy, etc., all sort of a government support is not there. Then the last one, I wish I'm wrong, inclusiveness of farming community. Here, farming means countryside crop production. Farming means only countryside production. Now, this is the last slide. I conclude my talk with that. I think I have not taken more than what the time was allocated to me. Yes, I think I am within the time. In view of the several serious concerns in current farming methods, such as extreme fluctuating weather conditions, reduction in soil health and cultivable acreage, environment degradation, heavy pesticide usage, etc., modern farming technology, which is hydroponic, and a system that is vertical farming, are promising alternatives despite, here lies that limitation what the topic is, hefty electrical bill, narrow crop range, lack of warranty, political awareness and will in the country where, I repeat here again, where farming means countryside, rural areas, and a farmer plowing field. That's all. So I think I have highlighted the limitations with that, but vertical farming is the future farming. Is not going to replace anything, but it's going to make its own space because of its advantage. With these words, I thank for providing me the opportunity. And those who want to study more, this is the book, Smart Plant Factory, the next generation indoor vertical farms. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Brahma Singh, being an octogenarian, and you can talk for continuously for so long time and giving us very valuable